are 8 minutes from the launch to happen, and everything is looking nominal right now. Yeah, you are seeing the views from the Houston, the control center of the Houston in America, and the launch is happening from, yeah. So that's one thing to be noted about, and uh, yeah.
Coming up on the 8-minute mark until launch.
Okay, so 8 minutes, and the countdown, which is you are seeing right now, it is done by me only, so that could be delayed or delayed. That could be delayed or maybe early. I'll fine tune it once I get the official countdown. Yes, exotic butters. How do they clean the inside of the space suits? This is a good question. Okay,
This
here
view
we have
now
the
of the
views.
launch pad at the Baikonur
I'll answer
Cosmodrome
that.
on Site 31.
I'll answer that.
7.5 minutes until liftoff. We're coming up on the point at which the launch key will be inserted in the launch bunker by the launch conductor, transitioning the launch sequence into automatic mode.
So guys, you saw those views from that and those classic fumes from the rocket coming about, and yeah, uh, all the boosters and everything there in the Soyuz vehicle is liquid fuel. That's why it is a and you also saw that the view from the launch site only
And
was
confirmation
spectacular.
from the blockhouse in Baikonur that the launch key now has been inserted. The next milestone will be confirmation that the range at Baikonur is clear and the Soyuz rocket is ready to begin its journey.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Basically, actually, they don't clean the spacesuits, Bill Blake. They basically, those spacesuits have an expiry date on their own, because the temperature
Once
is
again, a good
maintained
look at
with.
the strap-on solid rocket boosters on the first stage of the Soyuz, venting the oxygen. Again, fully fueled, ready to launch in minutes.
So yeah, whatever
Station mark
cleaning.
on space to ground 1 for Ivan and MPEG test.
Good afternoon, Louis Carter. And what I was saying, yeah, those the cleaning. Basically, whatever they clean, they just air dry themselves. If I'm not, I remember there was one
Inside
astronaut.
5 minutes until launch, everything proceeding on track.
Okay, let me just. We have the countdown, guys. There, as you can see.
Strip chart recorders in the Launch Control Center, which is recording telemetry, up and running. Fuel lines about to be purged. The fuel line purging of the rocket engines are purged with nitrogen to fireproof them by removing vapors of fuel and oxidizer.
So yeah, I was telling that I remember one interview where the astronaut said that he's wearing the same shorts he when he had arrived at the space station, and he was about to leave the space station. So you can imagine they don't need those much cleaning in there. They just dry everything. Everything looks to be good.
Again, the International Space Station will pass directly over the Baikonur Cosmodrome 41 seconds after launch and will fly past the ascending Soyuz booster rocket. So at the time of third stage shutdown and spacecraft separation, 8 minutes and 46 seconds after launch, The International Space Station will be leading the progress by almost 11 statute miles.
So that's why they put it into a low orbit. Preliminary orbit is a lower
Inside
orbit.
3.5 minutes until launch. A key to the drainage position at the launch site has been turned into the correct position. The valves through which evaporated or gaseous oxygen escapes from the fuel tanks into the atmosphere are closed, and fuel is now draining back into the tanks to maintain the correct weight of the vehicle. The valves also provide oxygen for replenishment that has been lost by the boil off of liquid oxygen that you've been seeing at the launch pad. And the fuel and oxidizer tanks on the first stage are now being pressurized to optimize the fuel flow. We are inside 3 minutes until launch.
So the space suits have a lifetime of 6 years now. Earlier they used to have less years, but the upgradation of the space suits and all has increased their lifetime to 6 years right now. And they have their application also, like how many space EVAs they can do from those space suits. So yeah, that is one thing to be taken into account. And now we are only T-minus 1 minute 30 seconds to the launch, and everything is looking good. Here we go. We have those feed.
Inside 2 minutes until launch, this view of the Soyuz 2.1A booster encapsulated in the upper stage is the Progress 76 cargo craft with almost 3 tons of food, fuel, and supplies for the International Space Station.
They have a 4-hour journey, exotic butters. Basically, they will put themselves into a lower orbit. This spacecraft will put themselves into a lower orbit because the ISS will be leading this spacecraft. So as to catch with the ISS, it will be put into a lower preliminary orbit, which is a faster than the upper orbit. So that's why it will be able to catch
Less than
up.
a minute until launch. We're standing by for the retraction of the first umbilical. That will come at about the T-minus 35-second mark.
Thanks, Lucas, for subscribing. I appreciate that. Now, guys,
the Soyuz booster now on internal power.
It is now in internal power, and we are 30 seconds to the launch, guys. This is looking so good now. Here we go. The retraction of the final arm.
The
has been
first
confirmed.
umbilical has now been retracted.
Now,
when the second umbilical retracts,
18,
that will initiate
17,
the launch sequence.
16,
The engine starts
15,
sequencing.
14, 13, 12, 11,
13 seconds
10,
until launch.
9.
The launch
8,
command has been issued.
7, 6.
There goes the second umbilical.
5, 4.
The engine start
3,
sequence has been initiated.
2, 1 and 0.
We have engine start.
Ignition.
Turbo pumps now coming up to flight speed. Now at maximum thrust.
Maximum thrust, and
now ignition and liftoff. Liftoff of the 76th Progress resupply craft heading for the express lane to the International Space Station.
Here we go, guys, as you can see.
Good
right
roll,
now,
pitch, and yaw program are in. The Progress heading out to the northeast in an orbit inclined 51.6 degrees to catch up to the International Space Station. The station now passing directly over the Baikonur Cosmodrome.
So it is now performing a pitch maneuver, guys.
All vehicle parameters reported to be stable from the blockhouse in Baikonur.
Everything is looking nominal, and we had a great footage of the view of the launch itself. And now we'll have a great
good pressure reported in the engine chambers.
Will of the separation also. Just see, wait and watch the separation to happen.
Pitch and roll, all nominal, according to the launch conductor at Baikonur. Liftoff occurred right on time at 9:26:22 a.m. Central Time, 7:26:22 p.m. in Baikonur.
So guys, those engines, as you saw that after some time this vehicle got
1 minute 27 seconds into the flight, everything reported proceeding normally.
Got itself up the launch pad. This is because, so here we have the launch
view now from a camera on the upper stage of the Soyuz 2.1A booster.
Here
We're
we
about
go.
10 seconds away from booster shutdown and first stage separation.
Everything should be good. As you can see, the plume is growing big now, and anytime now we have the stage separation for the boosters. Here we go,
And there
and
are the
go. See
boosters now
this
separated.
beautiful separation, guys. These cross formed by the boosters. This is but wait us.
Structural parameters continue to be normal. The Soyuz now being thrust towards its preliminary orbit for the Progress resupply craft on the power of the second stage engines.
Okay, so we have the second stage engines firing up, guys. But
2 minutes, 50 seconds into the flight, everything proceeding in great fashion so far.
okay, so everything.
No issues reported from the blockhouse in Baikonur.
So right now you can see the plume being widened up. This is bound to happen because
The vehicle reported to be stable.
We don't have the atmospheric pressure to. There we go. The fairings separation confirmed.
And there is the jettisoning of the launch shroud. Great view from the upper stage camera on the Soyuz 2.1A booster. The next milestone will be second stage shutdown at the 4-minute 37-second mark, about 1 minute from now.
Okay, so right now everything is looking good, but only thing which the plume, as you can see the plume, we can see the plume, but we don't see the. There we have the satellite, means the Progress craft, the views from the Progress craft, and we switch to animation. So this is cool.
This now animation being generated from the Russian Mission Control Center in Korolyov as we pass the 4-minute mark into the flight.
This is the speed which you are happening 24,000. This which is being accelerated. I don't know what's the unit, but yeah, this is the speed, and we are 35 seconds from the second
the
stage.
Second stage continues to burn in nominal fashion at the 4.5-minute mark into the flight.
Oh, sorry.
We
that's not
are standing
the speed.
by now for second stage shutdown and separation.
Yeah, that's the time. Sorry. That's the time. 269 seconds into the flight, and 16 seconds from now, there will be the first stage engine shutdown and the separation happening, if I'm not wrong. And here we go, the first stage engine
and second stage shutdown is confirmed.
Sorry, the second stage obviously.
And separation
confirmed. Here we go, guys.
And the third stage is up and running.
Third stage is up and running, and everything is looking nominal right now.
The Progress resupply ship now heading towards its preliminary orbit on the singular power of the third stage engine. 5 minutes, 20 seconds into the flight.
It will head. So next event is in 206 seconds. Will be the cutoff of the third stage engine. And let's see. It simulated. Yeah, it simulated exotic butters. That's the animation. This is the real one you are seeing right now. From the views from the satellite itself.
Once again, this view from a camera on the upper stage of the Soyuz, the third stage engine up and running in good shape at the 6-minute mark into the flight. We're about 2 minutes and 45 seconds away from the Progress entering its preliminary orbit.
And guys, we don't. If I'm not wrong, we don't have any camera in the on the third stage. That's why we are seeing the camera which is on the Soyuz craft only. That's why we shifted to the animation, because that's the thing. Yeah, everything is looking good.
6.5 minutes into the flight, everything proceeding on track. Good engine performance from the third stage of the Soyuz booster. We are about 2 minutes away from the completion of the Progress's journey to its preliminary orbit. The International Space Station is now in front of the Progress At the time of third stage shutdown and spacecraft separation, the station and its 5 residents will be about 1,100 miles ahead of Progress.
And to catch it, that's why it is putting it into a lower preliminary orbit, as the lower orbit tends to be faster, and then it will just burn their engine. The Soyuz spacecraft will burn its engine, turn on the engine, and perform a home and transfer for a 2-orbit rendezvous with the
vehicle
ISS.
reported to be rock steady and stable as it continues its climb uphill at the 7.5-minute mark into the flight.
The space is so silent, right? And so empty.
The reports from the blockhouse in Baikonur continue to be good. Good structural stability, good orbital parameters so far. Having passed the 8-minute mark into the flight, the Soyuz booster traveling almost 15,000 miles an hour, 125 miles in altitude, 860 miles downrange from the Baikonur Cosmodrome.
Yeah, Integrators, you are right. This Progress spacecraft will arrive with the arrive ISS at around 4 hours from now.
8.5 minutes into the flight.
But the Demo 2 mission
just a few seconds away from third stage shutdown and spacecraft separation.
One day, because they both follow different trajectory, and especially for this mission, the ISS has adjusted its orbit so as to receive this spacecraft early. That's okay.
Third stage shutdown confirmed, and spacecraft separation confirmed.
Guys.
Right on
here
time.
We go. We have the separation to confirmed of the now we
standing
have
by for solar array deployment.
Exactly, standing by for it, the solar array deployment, and here we
and the
go.
Command to deploy the arrays having been issued, and you can see them having been deployed.
Bill, if you want,
navigational antennas now deployed.
Everything is good now. Guys, if you want the live stream for the docking also, I can do that.
All appendages, as they are called, have been deployed. The solar arrays, the navigational antennas, the external television camera. So the Progress is now in its preliminary orbit, having completed a flawless climb to orbit following an on-time launch from Site 31 at the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan.
So guys, if you want the stream, which will be not now, right? Yeah, it will not be happening right now. It will be happening from 4 hours from now. If you want that stream also, I can do that. So just type in the chat if you want that stream. I'll also stream the docking part of this launch. So yeah, that is also
a view of the Russian Mission Control Center in Korolyov outside of Moscow. Those flight controllers now in control of the journey of the Progress to the International Space Station. This is a quick 2-orbit rendezvous. The Progress atop the Soyuz 2.1A booster launched into a narrow 15-degree corridor, a very tight corridor to accommodate a precise pinpoint path to its preliminary orbit, to place the Progress on a precise course to the International Space Station. A series of engine firings now will follow over the course of the next couple of hours to raise the altitude of the resupply craft and to fine-tune its path as we move toward the vicinity of the International Space Station.
Okay, Louis Carter, if you want the stream to happen, I'll do that. No worries. But yeah, that's a good opportunity also to explain the docking mechanism to you guys. That would be a good thing to be streaming. So I'll stream the docking also. Yes, Craig. Rock steady flight, beautiful. That's how we say it, right? Everything is looking nominal is a normal thing. That's not not as cool as rock steady flight, beautiful flight, right? So yeah, so that's what we have for today's launch, guys. We will be back in 4 hours from now, and this is the camera view of the Soyuz spacecraft right now, which you are seeing. This is the camera which will be used for docking also. This the view which you are seeing right now. Yeah, there we go. There are all those.
And this view from the external television camera on the Progress 76 cargo craft that you're familiar with, showing the data that will be instrumental in flight controllers assessing the path of the Progress to its automated docking to the Piers docking compartment a few hours from now. The lower left-hand corner in this quadrant view from the external TV camera will ultimately show the distance from the Progress to the station and its rate of closure in meters per second. Again, everything went by the book in this morning's launch of the Progress to the International Space Station, a flawless climb to orbit on the Soyuz 2.1A booster, and its arrival in its preliminary orbit.
Okay. So Bill, if you want, yes, I can stream it. So I am streaming the docking. That's confirmed now. So that will happen. Um, yeah, the staying was so
Back
precise,
here
right?
in
Yeah.
Mission Control in Houston, in the International Space Station Flight Control Room, the Orbit 2 team of flight controllers monitored the launch of the Progress and its climb to its preliminary orbit, now working in tandem with their Russian flight control counterparts at the Russian Mission Control Center outside of Moscow. That'll wrap up our launch coverage for this morning. We will be back on the air in about 2 hours and 20 minutes at noon Central Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, for live coverage of the rendezvous and automated docking of the Progress to the International Space Station. In the meantime, that wraps up our launch coverage for now. This is Mission Control Houston.
So guys, as you heard, 2 hours from now we'll have the launch coverage beginning in. So I'll stream that also. No worries with that. And so thanks Yash for subscribing. I really appreciate that. And I'll explain you the docking mechanism and all which happens and how it will happen. So it will be a cool thing to watch. If I'm not wrong, basically we can do a Kerbal space program simulation for the docking. That will basically explain you everything, not everything, but most of the basic things which are required for the docking process. So I'll do that. And thank you so much for tuning in, guys. If I conclude the stream, we had a beautiful view from the Cosmodrome launch pad. We saw the discussions about the ISS, the food from the ISS. Thanks Sparta Beer Reviews for subscribing. We saw the views from, not the views, we saw the discussion about the food that is delivered to the ISS for the astronaut, and that was something which was very informative. Then we saw the beautiful launch, the beautiful liftoff of the Soyuz vehicle, which happened right after at precise timings at t minus 0 seconds only. And yeah, one thing is to be noticed, which I was, those ignition we had liftoff.
We are a species of explorers.